Good evening, ladies. How are you?
Good
Hey,
evening.
good evening.
How's everyone doing? Are we ready, ladies? Are we ready for our live on Monday? So, everyone out there, we are going to attempt to do a live show for you all on Monday with two gentlemen, Jonathan and David. So, it'll be at 7:30. So, please, once again, we need you to be watching, liking, sharing, and commenting. Definitely comment because it'll be live. So, we'll be able to answer your comments live. So please check us out this Monday, April 10th at 7:30. All right, ladies,
Hey.
let's get into this, ladies.
All right.
So, ladies, we are where we are in our life, in our walk in this whole thing called finding a relationship. So I thought, let's have some fun and let's see where we really are and what's really important to us. So these are the 10 of the most common relationship problems. So my question for us, and I mean us because I'm included, we are more mature, more confident, and definitely more aware of ourselves. So, of the 10 relationship concerns below, which ones, if any, do you believe will be less of a concern for you in your next relationship? Something that you think that you've gotten past or that you've mastered, you know how to handle, and it won't be an issue. And you know what? If you can tell us, if we can tell everyone why, because I think that these are things that other women will struggle with as well, and I'm sure that they have mastered some and probably not having them in their relationships currently. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. So, do you want me to you have it,
Yeah, I think you
Bonnie?
should tell the people the 10 topics, the 10.
Okay, so I'll read the 10. So then you're going to tell me of the 10, which ones you feel that you mastered that you can move past. So the
Yes.
first one is arguments, sex and intimacy, infidelity, trauma, keep things exciting, trust, safety, same fight, different day, and communication. So, of those, Vonnie, which ones do you think won't be an issue in your next relationship that you have mastered, and what have you done that you think that you've made a difference for yourself so that it'll be different in your next relationship?
Well, out of all of the 10, I really thought I couldn't pre-think these things because when they happen, I feel like they happen. And your heart is still your heart at 2 as it is at 102. And so hurt is hurt the same way. And I'm not quite sure if I could pre-think it, but in pre-thinking some of them, definitely I know I would never have anybody who is abusive to me or belittle me or hurt me in any kind of way, physical or mentally. That's definitely not ever happening again. Um, as far as communication and my thought and pre-thinking is I hope that communication is what I have with my next partner because it will help for longevity.
But what do you think
Um,
that you've done, just so that I interject real quick, what have you done where that you think that your communication level will be different in your next relationship? Have you done something in your life to make a difference, to be a better communicator or anything
yeah,
like
I think I'm more patient now, more
that? Okay.
patient, a better listener, you know, not quick to fly off the handle, being a listener is the best part of communication, and holding your temper down helps to keep it even better. So I think I've grown with those things.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I know definitely I never want to have a partner that I'm not sexually in tune with and they're not compassionate with. I don't want it. I know that's what I did. What I learned is that I don't want it in my life ever. So that's
Okay.
one of the
Okay.
other
But what
ones.
what what did you learn specifically? Anything that you can share with us?
That I don't want anybody that's not compassionate. I don't have to learn that. I learned that I don't want anybody who's not compassionate. And I know that I want someone who is sexually in tune with me. I don't want to be in a relationship because that's phony and it wouldn't work.
Okay.
So those are things I've thought about and learned and know. And the other one is those are basically the two things that I felt that I've grown with. The
Okay.
other things I really I can't pre-think of them, because I think when they happen, and you have to deal with it at the time of the situation. I can't pre-think those things. But those two things I talked about, I have learned, and I do understand myself better. I learned me better. And if you learn yourself better, then you learn things that you don't want to deal with in life.
Absolutely. I like that, Bonnie. Thank you so much. Hey, Wendy, come on now. What about you?
What about me? Very well said, Bunny. I think very well said. Let's see. The argument part, I guess, probably better with that kind of situation. I've grown, just matured, and I know that some things, everything does not require, debate or argument. Some things
Right.
you just have to let go. If it's not important, you'd have to let it go. So you just, I've learned that.
Okay.
Where previously, might go a round or two with about
Around,
some stuff
not
that
one
wasn't
round, but a
important.
round or two.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of want to win, just want to win the argument type of thing.
Right, right. I
So
understand.
definitely that. And then I think that goes with communication too, because sometimes, like Bonnie said, that you gotta be quiet, you gotta listen. And really hear, sometimes we listen, but we don't really hear what the other person is
Right.
saying. So I think that's important. And I've grown with that, just reading self-improvement books and doing this. It's just, it has helped with my growth and development with communication. So communication and argument, those to me are very close together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right, ladies, thank you so much for that. So I hope all the gentlemen out there are listening to what these beautiful ladies said. They are ready to, they're ready. They know what they want. They know what they want to do, and they know what they need to do. So, ladies, for me, I'm going to say sex and intimacy for sure. And that's mainly because I'm past the time when, okay, so for whatever reason, most men tend to think that they know how to turn a woman on sexually. And 9 times out of 10, they really don't. Unless you tell them, and I'm just going to be explicit, unless you specifically tell them how to move in your body so that they can touch the corners that they need to touch in order to excite you. So I'm saying that to say that I've learned that you have to have that kind of conversation with your mate. You have to tell them, because they think that one movement that they do is a movement that's going to excite you. And little do they know that the average woman is just laying there probably thinking about the next outfit she's going to buy until it's all over, because she's really not excited. She's just laying there waiting for it to be over. So if you really want to have a real good connection, this is what I think, you have to actually tell your mate exactly what to do, how to move, what turns you on. Because then when you are really turned on because your mate knows what to do, the intimacy part is even more exhilarating. So I've learned that you have to have that conversation. Tell them what turns you on so they will understand, and not assume that that one move that they do is the one that's working for you. Money, definitely money. It says that more than half couples that come into relationships together have major debt. So I have definitely learned that no, I don't want to bring my debt into a relationship with someone else, and I don't want them to bring their debt into a relationship with me either. So that's definitely a conversation that we would have up front, so that each of us knows what the other has and what we're responsible for. And that's just learning as you grow older and you deal with different people. You find out things sometimes like after the fact, too far after the fact, as a matter of fact. Keeping things excited. That's definitely going to be important in my next relationship, because because for me, you have to keep the excitement in the relationship, because the average man wants to be with the woman that he's with But if things aren't exciting, then he might want to be with someone else. And you really can't much blame him, because everybody wants to be aroused in some way, and you have to know how to be able, to do that. And I think that that's important, and all that comes back to communication. So if you're having a good connection with that person, you're talking and you're talking about all of these things, how can things not be good, be as good as they can be for that time? Now, what was the other one? Arguments. Absolutely, I agree with you ladies on that one. Definitely want to curtail the arguments. I have learned that everything does not, first of all, everything does not require a conversation, because 9 times out of 10, once again, the average man is going to shut down when he feels like, well, they assume automatically that women are always going to be combative. And that's not how we see it, men. We just want to talk. And you all don't really want to talk, but sometimes, you know what? You have to do that in order to understand what your woman is going through. You really just have to have a conversation and open up, and not just assume that she's going to be belligerent and combative. She just really wants to talk to you so that you can understand how she feels about something. I mean, feelings are important. Feelings are what drive change. Let's see. I think that was it for me, because all the other things, I think, they're just they're not as difficult, because I think a man is always going to think, men know that one of their responsibilities in a relationship is to make a woman feel safe and secure. And I think the average man does know that and doesn't want anyone or anything to hurt his mate. That, just my opinion. But ladies, of any of those others, do you have any thoughts about any of the other 8 items actually? Any other thoughts on anything in terms of same fight, different day? It's not common for a couple to have the same fight over and over. Have you ever had a situation like that where for some reason it still comes, you feel like it's never been resolved? So, it's
It
someone's,
means that,
you know,
excuse me, to me, it means that one party's not listening.
oh, yeah.
One party is not listening, because if the same thing is happening over and over again, and you're saying it in different ways or whatever, the person is not listening, or they just continue to think that they're right. And that's why you have the same scenario over and over again.
I like that, Vonnie. I didn't look at it like that, but you're absolutely right. They're not hearing you. And that's the whole, and you know what? We're talking about this, and it all comes back to that one thing: communication. It really does. And if you don't have someone that you can really, really, really talk to openly and honestly and be transparent in anything, then other areas aren't going to really be fruitful either. What about you, Wendy? Anything
Exactly.
else?
Anything else? I think that when you said that about the finances, I mean, these are kind of counterintuitive. I think that, but it's a little difficult to bring that up. I mean, do you ask for, at some point, do you want to see the credit report? You know what I'm saying?
No, I just think you ask it. I just think, I don't, for me, and this is just what I've learned. Sometimes it's hard to have those conversations, but I want to know, do you have 5 credit cards, and do you have high balances on them? Because
Well, and as opposed to asking that, because the person can answer you any kind of way, how about, here's my credit report. Let me see your credit report.
I like that. I like that a lot.
You might what's on there or whatever, you know what I mean?
And when the actually that's even better, because that's a softer way to do it. Because if you do it any other way, it might sound, really harsh, and
Yeah.
like you're coming at them in a way that, if you can't tell me this, then we can't be together.
Right,
As opposed
right.
to, let's share our information so we both know where we stand. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea when you get to that level.
Right, of course, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the trauma part, that's I think that's important. I don't feel like I have any traumatic things in my life that I would be bringing into a relationship. But if you really think about that, sometimes people have things going on in their life that don't show up in your relationship with them until you're with them, and you're like, well, what's going on, hon? I mean, what's the problem? And they start telling you about, when they were abused, or all these things that happened in their life, and you're like, oh my. And that becomes a lot for you to deal with as well. So none of us mentioned that, but I didn't mention it because I don't have anything of that nature. But you never know what the other person, what's going on in their life. And that just adds a whole nother layer to the relationship.
Yes.
So
Or like,
Bonnie, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Or it could happen during the relationship.
Yeah, that's true too.
And even sometimes you can love somebody and something traumatic happens to them, and it could be the thing that breaks you apart because
That's true.
that person can't get over it, or you can't deal with whatever, so that's why I said on those some of those issues, I have to deal with it as it comes. I can't pre-think it, because I've had too many things happen to me in my life that I know shit happens.
Right,
That's
right.
all
No,
I can
you're right.
say.
You're right. No, you're
And then you die.
yeah,
And then you die.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I like keeping things exciting because that's something that people talk about a lot today in relationships. You have to keep, the spice in it. You got to do different things to keep things interesting. And that's when, what? Communication, you get to know the person, you understand what they like, what turns them on, what turns them off. And then you just do little things, and that starts to become the norm in your relationship, and you become a happier person, I think.
Yes, yes. I think in starting any relationship, that is the hardest thing you need to work on, is the communication, because then everything else is going to become a little softer as you go along. But if you can get that communication in the beginning, so I definitely don't want to deal with somebody that may be hiding something, or quiet, or somebody that doesn't have a life. I really need a person I deal with to have a life, because I've already dealt
Yeah.
with someone that didn't have a life, and your life becomes their life,
They
and that
want you
becomes,
there all the time because
yes,
they have nothing else going on in their life.
right.
And you know what,
Mhm.
getting back, we keep bringing it back to the communication. What I have learned is, if when you meet someone, if they can't keep the conversation going, talking about different things, and I'm not saying they have to always be worldly and be able to talk about politics, health, relationship, all of that, but they have to be able to converse about things that are happening in the world. They have to they have to have knowledge of something that's going on in their immediate community, in order to keep the conversation going. It can't just be, I don't want you to sit and tell me how beautiful I am and all the wonderful things you're going to do for me. Yeah, you know what? Show me is better than telling me. I want to hear what's going on what's going on with you. What do you know? What things do you know? What do you understand about the world? When a person, I think, can have that kind of conversation with you, it gives you an idea of what kind of communicator they're going to be. If you sit there and you feel like you have to carry the conversation, then you're going to probably have to always carry the conversation. And what are you going to do? Get frustrated. Get
Yep,
frustrated.
exactly,
Mm.
You know.
exactly.
So, Wendy, any more thoughts on any of those 10 topics from you?
No, nothing else from me.
Okay, all right. Well, ladies, once again, everybody out there, please remember to like,
Like,
share, and
then
subscribe.
subscribe
Don't forget, what's that
and
thing?
comment,
Comment and click the bell.
ring the bell.
Click the bell so that you can get all the new content each and every week that we have something out there. And don't forget, Monday we are going to be live with David and Jonathan, so you will be able to ask them questions. They are men of a certain age as well. So for all the ladies out there who feel like there are no men available, they are available. We just have to be in the right place at the right time to meet them, I think. It depends on what you're doing in your life, where you are in your life, and the things that you enjoy. That really kind of dictates who you're going to meet and where you're going to meet them at. In my opinion, we've talked about online dating, and we know that can be fun, but it can also be scary. You've got to be careful out there because we
We're
have
gonna ask the
online.
guys where their friends hang out at, where they hang out at too.
Yes. Yeah, no, you know what, Wendy? Just what you said. Ask them, where do most single guys go? We know
Where
they
do
go
their friends go? Where do they go? What's their
to,
favorite spot
we
on
know they
Friday
go to
night?
cigar
Yeah,
bars, right? Isn't that one place where a lot of men are, at cigar
Well,
bars?
we're gonna find out when we ask those guys.
yeah, yeah. We will.
But just real quick, guys, I don't know. Tell me, can you do the cigar bar? I can't.
I don't know yet. I don't know. I haven't tried it long enough.
You've been to one, though, Wendy?
Yeah, I have been to one, but I didn't stay long. I just, happened in downtown Stone Mountain. I just happened in one, and
Oh, okay,
it was
okay.
full of men. I was like, hey.
All right. And you know what? Okay, so we won't name the club, but it's a club.
Yeah,
We are in
yeah.
Atlanta, everyone. So we have gone to Bonnie. We've all gone to that club where they have that
Right.
cigar bar inside, but we
Oh, yeah.
have
Inside.
gone
Yeah.
into the cigar
Excuse
bar.
me.
And yes, there are lots of men in the cigar bar. So we'll find out on Monday from Jonathan and David exactly where in Atlanta where the single eligible men are.
Yeah.
So everyone, ladies, any parting thoughts before we say good night to everyone?
Good night. See you Monday. See you
See you
tomorrow.
next time.
All right, guys, have a wonderful Saturday. It's still the weekend, so enjoy your weekend. If you're in Atlanta, it's been raining, so stay dry, be careful, and drive safely. Bye,
Yes.
everyone.